If you live in North America and you work remotely and you're looking for a change of environment, do what I did. Move to South America. South America is a cheat code if you make your money in dollars. I say this from experience because I lived in Medellín, Colombia for 5 years. And during those 5 years, I traveled all across South America. And in this video, I'm going to tell you the top 4 cities to live in South America in regards to cost and livability. So let's dive in. Now, number 1 on this list, without a doubt, is Medellín, Colombia. In terms of cost of living, if you wanted to get a 2-bedroom apartment in a rich area called El Poblado, which is where most foreigners live in Medellín, it's gonna cost you about $900 to $1,200 per month. In terms of food in Medellín, let's start it at the top. If you wanted to go to a top level steakhouse, it would cost you about $25 per meal. Now, everything else will pretty much drop from there. For example, if you wanted to go to a fast casual healthy restaurant and get like one of those, green bowls and all that, it'll be about $6, $7, $8. Not gonna cost you that much. And next, community. Medellín is a city with over 4 million people. So there's a ton of people. Now you have the locals and the foreigners living in Medellín. If you want to get in touch with just the foreigners and other expats living there, very easy. Just join communities, Facebook groups, they're all there. And you'll find all kinds of foreigners. I'm talking about people who've been living there for years, other people just passing by, living for a few months. You'll find every kind of community in Medellín, they're all there. Now, in terms of the locals are some of the warmest, most welcoming people I have ever seen out of any country in the world. For example, when I landed in Medellín, Colombia, I was 25 years old, didn't speak a word of Spanish. And within 2 months, I had a friend group, I was learning Spanish, I was going out to different Colombian things. It was awesome. One thing I will say Medellín has over any other place in this world is the hospitality and warmth of the local people. Number 2 on this list, Santiago, Chile. Now, the cost of rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in the Las Condes area, which again is a high-end area with lots of restaurants, walkable, lots of things to do, is between $800 US to $1,100 per month. In terms of food, the prices, again, for a top steakhouse will start around $35 and then they will drop from there. So if you want to eat real fancy, yeah, it's about 35 bucks. Or again, if you want to go to a fast casual place, like you want to get a churrasco sandwich, which is one of the most famous sandwiches Chile offers, I found them for as low as $5, $6. Absolutely delicious. Definitely something to try. Community. Santiago, Chile has a population of over 8 million people, making it one of the biggest cities in all of South America. Now, again, you have local people living in Santiago and you have foreigners. I will say this from my experience. Everybody is very friendly and a lot of people speak English too. So if the language barrier is something you're worried about, you'll experience less of it in Chile compared to other places in South America. It's quite easy to meet people. Again, Facebook groups, communities, you'll find the expats. Or if you just want to do local things, just join like a dance class or go and join different places. And I promise you, you'll meet people very easily. They are also quite friendly. One other thing I will add is when I was in Santiago, Chile, it was the safest I've ever felt out of any other city in South America. It's just very developed physically, structurally, the people, everything. I felt very, very safe being in Santiago. I'm not saying it's the safest place in the world, but I am saying comparatively to the other places I've been in South America, Santiago definitely is the most secure. Number 3, Quito, Ecuador. Now, this is one of the most underrated cities in all of South America. In terms of cost of living, you can get a 2-bedroom apartment in the La Floresta area, which is again a high-end area of the city that's close and central to a lot of shops, restaurants, things to do, for $800 to $1,100 per month. Now, it is important to note that in Ecuador, they use the US dollar as their currency. They're not using pesos or anything like that. You literally exchange US dollars everywhere you go in Ecuador. Now, in terms of food, I will say the food in Quito is more pricey than the other places I've been. For example, I got a steak dinner at a relatively fancy restaurant and I was paying about $45 for that steak. But as you go down, you go to more local restaurants, you can find food for cheaper prices. Community. Quito has a population of over 2.5 million people. Now, I will say that Quito is a little bit insecure. You have to be careful when you walk outside, holding your phone, all of this stuff. It's not as safe as Santiago per se. However, For the most part, people are, again, very, very friendly. When I was walking, asking directions, people wanted to show me around. People were genuine. And there is, again, an expat community. But again, the split of nomads to locals in Quito is just a bit smaller. I found that there were less tourists and less nomads living in Quito than there was, for example, in Medellín. Number 4, Buenos Aires, Argentina. This was one of my favorite places that I visited in South America. In terms of cost of living, if you want to live in the high-end areas like Palmero or Puerto Madero, it's going to cost you, again, for a 2-bedroom apartment, anywhere between $800 to up to $1,300 per month. Now, you have to understand that Argentina has been affected by inflation, so this will naturally affect the prices too. In terms of food, Argentina was quite cheap, especially in terms of steak, which is a big part of their diet. I went to a high-end steakhouse in Argentina and I paid $10 for that steak. Again, as you go to other restaurants, prices will fluctuate, but I will say that Argentina, especially Buenos Aires, is on the cheaper end of things when it comes to food prices. In terms of community, Buenos Aires is massive. It has a population of 16 million people. Now, keep in mind that is the entire greater Buenos Aires area, but it is a huge, huge place. When I was in Buenos Aires, I definitely saw a lot of expats living there as well. So again, you have the locals and you have the expats. One important thing to know about Buenos Aires and Argentina in general is that it has more of a European vibe than a Latin vibe to it. It's been heavily influenced throughout the years by the mass migration of Italians and other Europeans that have come to Argentina. So it's naturally just more reserved than Colombia, for example. Again, not a bad thing, but it's something to understand and take into account depending on what you're looking for. In conclusion, these are the top 4 cities in South America you should go live in. You can't go wrong with either one. If you're looking for a more reserved vibe, go to Buenos Aires. If you want to be super social, go to Colombia. If you want something more unique, go to Quito. If you want to get a mix of both worlds, go to Santiago, Chile. So either way, like I said, you cannot go wrong. I enjoyed all of those cities and I would have no problem living in either one of them. As always, thank you for watching. If you want to keep seeing more videos like this, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.